You may get that click, like, I want to learn something. If you lack imagination, you're going to be bored. Just realize that at the end of the day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? It's your brother Abu Aisha coming at you with another video. Look, today we'll talk about boredom. What is boredom? Boredom is that signal in your brain telling you that there's something that you need to fill the time so you don't get bored. So I came across some information online. Is it really reliable? Inshallah, we'll find out. But I hope it benefits you in that regards. And as a Muslim father, the question I ask myself, what's the importance of boredom though? Because we all experience it here and there, right? And how do we use it to our advantage? Well, how do I use it to my advantage? And what role does it play in terms of my creative process? See, I'm outside right now, nice and sunny. What's the importance of boredom? And what role does it play? Are we allowed to be bored? As Muslims, are we allowed to be bored? Big question. Now, the signal that you have, if you have self-awareness, it can actually be a very important quality to hone. So it can either go in one or two directions. I mean, when you feel in that sense of emptiness, and you feel like you have to fill your time with something, you end up trying to fill it with all sorts of activity. You can either go for something that's kind of immediate, an immediate pleasure, so that can give you that instant gratification, or you can go to something that's more productive. Now look, your nafs is something that calls the person to evil. And if you leave it to govern your free time instead of worshipping Allah and being productive in this life, you're bound to fall into which that does not befit you. But you know what? When you get that feeling that you're empty, or nothing's going on in your brain, you may get that click, like, I want to learn something. And I'm going to take the time to read books, and I'm going to finally start reading the Quran and maybe wait for Ramadan, And if you don't have the right foundation though, you'll end up just doom scrolling, just trying to get that instant gratification. Maybe I'll listen to one surah and then I'll listen to this beneficial video. And again, alhamdulillah, that might be beneficial for the short term, but seeking knowledge is what you should be actually doing. So you can actually benefit in the long term and apply it correctly, of course. See, but now, moving forward, you may get that moment. See now, if you, at that time, where you're having all these thoughts gathering through your head, you might actually just pause for a second instead of actually reacting straight away. And at the back of your mind, you're thinking, you know what? You say to yourself, if I do something productive, something interesting, something that'll help me, in the end, it'll be worth it. But for a minute, you try it, but then you give up. Worse, you don't even try it because you lack the knowledge and framework to actually implement and keep doing this long term. So now, in order to go either direction, you got to feel and understand the signal that's coming through your head, right? So that being said, what you're doing with it, you have to drown out that pain of thinking, you know what, this is just too much. It's too hard. I can't do it. Because you see, now 90% or 95% of us, of the people, will go towards that instant gratification. And inshallah ta'ala, you're not going to do that today. You're not going to be like that. You're going to be someone who's better and apply it. Bi-idhnillah. So first of all, I'm not saying it's bad to relieve your boredom. And we all experience it. If you're feeling that way, it's because you lack focus, vision, and purpose. And I once knew this feeling. But this is why I'm here, to make sure you're not going to do the same thing I did. You're not going to go through the mistakes that I did. You're going to be different, inshallah, right? So you're going to think in terms of bettering yourself, because you should ask yourself the questions you're thinking about. Do I love this life more than the akhirah? Right? This dunya. Is this what you're chasing for? Because again, by you saying that, you know what, I'm not going to better myself, you are saying that, you know what, I'll succumb to the dunya, that I want to be lazy, I'm just going to wither away. Would people even remember you if you benefited them, let alone your children? Something that's very important. Are they going to make dua for you? Because what kind of father were you? That's ajib. You have to think about this. But let me make one thing clear though, yeah? Contrary to what the kuffar tells you in these so-called self-help books, You know, I read the ones that a writer said, you know what, I'm a great time waster. SubhanAllah. But it's, you know, he's saying it's time wasting for a reason, because his writing is kind of a grind. You're thinking, Allahu Akbar. You see, for us, we know. You only have to take Surah Al-Asr, you know? At the end of the day, you can't be wasting time. Allah swears by time, Azza wa Jal. So I don't have to tell you more than that. You see, you, as a Muslim, you should have the time. You should have a time where you do something you enjoy, but with a greater goal in mind. It should be, how can I do this thing that I love, but also please Allah and still benefit myself in the end, right? See, understanding that the purpose that you were created for is what can help you think towards what can I do to keep me busy while relaxing and still be an act of ibadah. It's shocking. People don't actually know that you can turn anything you do into an act of ibadah. Have the right intention, and inshallah ta'ala, you'll be rewarded for it. So I'm not making this a religious lesson, but for those that want to know, go back to your local masjid, learn from your imam, inshallah. But you see, I love strength training, sports, anything physical exercise. Alhamdulillah, is good. Keeps the Muslim strong, right? Keeps me strong. So at the end of the day, I use that at the end of the day a lot, you know? I've just realized that at the end of the day, because that's what it boils down to, isn't it, guys? At the end of the day. Let me know if I say at the end of the day too much. I've said it like 3 times already. To recap though, look, the boredom is a signal in your head. It is trying to tell you that you need to fill that time with something so you won't be bored. It's plain and simple, right? So if you attempt to take on sports, for example, like me, in the beginning you find it kind of hard. It's a little annoying, maybe. You have to learn the rules, etc. And then eventually you get better though, and you get better, and you get better. And now you will say, you know what, this thing's great. It takes understanding of your mind and know what it will help you succeed. So whenever you feel bored, doing these activities will make you feel more well thought as a father, i.e. a productive activity. The great outdoors. Great lighting though. I hope you appreciate the lighting outside. Look guys, you have to make sure, if you lack imagination, you're gonna be bored. Find ways to keep yourself active in a good way. You see, I'm getting my exercise while walking, while doing my video, alhamdulillah. So for me, I use boredom as a signal to find a way to excite myself in the process. So for example, if I'm doing my work and I'm excited, alhamdulillah, you know, and the people I'm around should be able to see that. So for me, I use that boredom signal. I had to find ways to excite myself in the process and excite myself in the works that I do. So remember that the boredom signal is an indicator for you that you have time now. It's empty time, and it might be even depressing time, but it's telling you that you could go in the other direction and you can fill that time, again, with pointless activities, short term, numb your brain. But remember, at the end of the day, you're in control. It's your decision, of course, after the permission of Allah Azza wa Jal. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.